Thank you very much, Madam Presiding Officer. I want to start by thanking the honorable colleagues in this House for contributing to this motion. This, for me, was one of, and will be one of the best decisions taken in this House since perhaps the 44 years of the Tobago House of Assembly. We never thought at any point that Tobago will be a place where crime will be such an issue that it will take priority even over our fifth schedule items. We never thought that. Because for a long time, Tobago and Tobagonians, we went around with this notion that yes, Tobago is peaceful, yes, Tobago is quiet, Tobagonians are honest, Tobagonians don't get involved, and we buried our heads in the sand, and we put absolutely nothing in place to ensure that we prevent our children from becoming involved. And so at this juncture, it's more than just wetting our house because our neighbor's house probably done burned down already, and the fire is spreading. It's also about building up safety mechanisms. So, and I don't care if it's taken the wrong way, so that Tobago does not become like its sister island. Because that's not what we want. In fact, we want our sister island to become like us, insofar as levels of criminality. Today we heard from the minority. One was too ill-disciplined to even participate. In fact, he treats this house like if it's a morning walk. Come, scratch for 5 minutes, and go away to get his pay and make sure that he is on the register as being present. And then, from the minority leader, what we essentially heard is, well, we know that security is not your responsibility. We ain't sending no money for you to do anything about it. You don't have enough money to spend on national security. But although it's not your responsibility, I'm still blaming you for it happening. But I guess fault and Farley both begin with F. And one of the things about leadership is that sometimes, even when the fault is not yours, you take up the responsibility for finding a solution. And this is what this motion is about. For a very long time, I've argued across the waters, do more for national security in Tobago. Do more for national security in Tobago. We heard from Secretary James what the spend on development is in Tobago. I'm not sure why our good friend from the sister island clearly felt the need to remind us that national security pay the salaries of their workers. That is the least. They get their salary, and some of them still waiting on their back pay and can't get it. So not even that they're paying properly. But this was a conversation about the development spend on national security in Tobago. The fact that the figures don't lie. In some instances, $0 assigned to Tobago for sometimes 2 years consecutively for development spend in Tobago, notwithstanding having billion-dollar budgets that outstrip the Tobago development budget spend. How you could run national security for the entire country, and one part of the country in a given year, you have $0 development spend as actual spend. What we are experiencing, what we experienced in 2024 didn't happen overnight. It happened because in 2022 and 2021 and those previous years, they were spending $0 on development spend on national security in Tobago. When you hear 5 police stations call out, 5 or however many, for just over $1 million for development spend. You want to know if it's only light bulb they're changing? When you hear just $1 million for a single fire station, and you know $1 million probably can't even buy a Prado these days, much more fire tender. How can you claim to care? But you see, I've long learned that there's a political party for which hypocrisy has found a home, and it's called the PNM. So while they refuse to blame Minister Hines and call him a failure, while they refuse to blame the head of the National Security Council and call him a failure, because our numbers are exceedingly high, you will come to Tobago and put the failure on someone who the law says shall not have responsibility for. And so what this motion seeks to do is to create a bridge between that which we shall not have responsibility for and actually saying, look, we ain't going to just take somebody blame, but we're going to take somebody responsibility because they can't do the work. We're going to help pull you out. But more than that, this is also about saying Tobago is our business. And if you in a very neo-colonial way retains responsibility solely and exclusively for our security, and you are refusing to do it to the extent that we are suffering, to the extent that gunmen running into our homes, shooting up our lanes on New Year's night, and all sort of stuff, then we have to just do something, law or no law, responsibility or no responsibility. We live here, we have to do something about it. And it cannot be, leave it as it is, ego fix. Because you have been there for 10 years. 10 years consecutively. And the murder rate keeps going up and up and up. Tobago, which was once seen as extremely peaceful, is now suffering from high numbers as well. We can't allow it to get higher than that. And so we have to do all in our power, and the law allows that where there is a matter in the 6th schedule for which a ministry has responsibility, that some of that can be devolved through the use of an MOU. Before I close, Madam Presiding Officer, I want to make a few observations too. That notwithstanding this request to mandate the Chief Secretary to enter into MOU arrangements with the Minister of National Security, or rather the Ministry of National Security and the Tobago House of Assembly, there is still some legislative, or there are still some legislative issues for which the THA will still require the central government to treat with. One of those issues, Madam Presiding Officer, must be the issue of the laws governing marijuana usage in this country. Yes. We decriminalize marijuana up to over 30 grams. But we are yet to sit and to work out arrangements for the commercial aspect of it. And because there is that gap, Madam Presiding Officer, all of our young men, and even some of our young women, they always have 30 grams in their little sachet, the cross bag. And they will just keep topping up and selling, and it is fueling a sort of drug trade and a sort of cross-border gang warfare, and people fighting for space, and whether this area is 7 or this area is 6 or this is ABG and all sort of story. If we just simply, regardless of how you feel about marijuana, if we just simply take the legislation to the next extent, and because that was part of the conversation, it will remove the power from young boys in the street, but more than that, remove the power from the gang leaders, those who calling themselves presidents and higher than even the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. That's where we need to go. And so there is a lot of work to do. And perhaps devolving this responsibility to Tobago will finally free up some time for the Ministry of National Security so that they could actually go to the Parliament and do some work that they have to do. I also want to acknowledge and thank Assistant Secretary Clark for your presentation in the House today. It is not easy to be a victim of crime at that level, to lose a close relative at that level, and to have the strength to come to the House and in such warm layman terms explain what needs to be done. And if perchance you listen online and you don't understand through all my flowery language, you don't understand all the academic thoughts of Secretary James, I'm certain you understand Assistant Secretary Clark.
Yes.
And what he presented. I am certain about that. And I am certain, Madam Presiding Officer, that for some parent listening today, that they understand with greater clarity that here we have an island government asked to create and maintain social cohesion on the island, and yet we are asked to do so with our hands tied behind our backs. From where I sit, all the meetings I have with national security agents, from where I sit, Madam Presiding Officer, I can't instruct not one of them. I could give them ideas, and when they leave the room, they could just stoop their teeth and do what they want. I have no say in what policy governs them at all, nor anybody in the Tobago House of Assembly. And I can tell you, we experienced it when we were doing the oil spill cleanup. At one time, we were asking for police to help close off certain roads, and the police refused to come and do it. Refused to come and do it. We had a crisis on the island, and we could not even direct policy to the point where we get them to come and close off the roads for us at Lambo. We end up using private security guards to do it, which should not have been the case. And so this motion is aimed at fixing all of that. But I want to end by saying to Tobagonians that we are not without hope. I want to say that we have not lost this battle against crime. And once this administration is here, we will not lose the battle against crime. Because we will not allow criminal elements to win. Not in this paradise. We will not lose our paradise to a few. We will not. And there are times, even when listening to those opposite, and listen to how we are still being told boats on dry dock, and they're on dry dock for years now. Because I hear that in 2022 when I come, I hear it in 2023, I hear it in 2024, and in 2025, we're still hearing boat on dry dock. I don't know if it's Noah's Ark they're trying to fix. Must be Noah's Ark. And in my mind, there is a class of people in this country who are benefactors, who benefit from the high levels of crime, who benefit from the drugs and the guns, and they're powerful enough to ensure that what needs to be done by national security is not done so that they can continue their trade. I am convinced of that. I am convinced of that. Nobody could tell me otherwise. Because nobody could tell me how billions in a development budget for national security, and we still can't get not even a little pirogue to circumnavigate Tobago. But we are not a people without hope. And it means, therefore, Tobago and Tobagonians, we have work to do. Law or no law, whether the ministry accepts our MOU or not, whether they accept our overtures or not, I wish to be clear to Tobagonians that this administration will do whatever is necessary, even if they accuse us of breaking the law, to do it, to ensure our people remain safe. Because that is a priority for our people. I want to once again thank all the members who contributed. I want to thank members in this house who have also gone above and beyond to do work themselves, such as Assistant Secretary Baines, who has been mobilizing the Christian community ever so often to ensure that they do the needful and to put God in charge of this island and to talk to him and communicate to him on behalf of the rest of the population. And I want to end by saying that while it might be the intention of some to spoil, to disrupt, to ensure that there is a stillbirth of the dream of having the greatest little island on the planet, by facilitating criminal activity, I want to be clear. And we just came out of the Christmas season, that which is to be birthed will not just be birthed, but it will live. The dream of the greatest little island on the planet is well birthed, and it shall live, and Tobago shall become that. And we will return to peace and safety. Thank you, Madam Presiding Officer.